Hey everyone. So I want to explain what you have to do for the Integrating Sources Part 2 assignment. This one is a little different, and it's easy to sort of get confused and not really understand everything that you're supposed to do for this assignment. So I'm going to pull it up and we are going to look at it together. Okay. All right. So this assignment is to help you practice using direct quotes. All right, so the Integrating Sources assignment part 1, the one that was in quiz format, that dealt with summary and paraphrases. This assignment is about direct quotes. And the only reason that it wasn't included in the quiz format for part 1 is it would have been more difficult for you to do it, I think. The format is just not conducive to that quiz format. All right, so that's sort of the purpose of this assignment, though, is to help you practice with using direct quotes from your sources. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is look down here at this section in italics. And you can see the bulleted list here, practice with direct quotes instructions. Below, you will see a paragraph explaining the benefits of having young children do chores, right? So this paragraph right here, having parents implement daily or weekly chores benefits young children because it equips them with skills needed for life as adults, teaches them the importance of responsibility, and promotes better health and well-being. All right, so that's what this paragraph is about. 3 reasons why doing chores is good for kids. The first reason is because it equips them with skills that they will need as adults. The second reason is because it teaches them the importance of responsibility. Chores are good for that. And the third reason that chores are a good idea for kids is because it promotes better health and well-being. That's what this paragraph is going to explain. Those 3 ideas, okay? The first main idea of this paragraph says doing chores is a good thing for kids because it equips them with skills for adulthood. This idea is discussed fully in the first part of the paragraph, right here. The first way chores benefit young children is it equips them with skills needed for life as adults. Most adults are responsible for cleaning their own home, and learning how to do so at a young age will ensure capable housekeeping skills later in life, right? That's the first main point, the first reason why having kids do chores is a good idea. It's explained in full. All right, the second main idea in the paragraph says doing chores is a good thing because it teaches kids about responsibility. This idea is discussed fully in the middle part of the paragraph, right here. Furthermore, daily and weekly chores are good for children because it teaches them the importance of responsibility. Most kids do not enjoy cleaning their rooms, washing the dishes, or taking out the garbage. It's important they learn at a young age that in life we are often faced with tasks we prefer not to do, but we must do them anyway. Holding children accountable for their share of the chores teaches them the importance of putting in the work whether we want to or not, right? So that's the second main idea of the paragraph. It is discussed in full. That one reason why kids should do chores is it teaches them the importance of responsibility, right? Okay. The third main idea in the paragraph is supposed to discuss how doing chores can help prevent kids from developing certain allergies, promotes health and well-being. But this third main idea has not yet been discussed in the last part of the paragraph, noted by the lined section toward the end, right here. See these blank lines right here? Part of the paragraph is missing, right? For this task, you will fill in that missing main idea and use a direct quote and citation in the process. So you have to come up with everything for that third main idea. We have the transition for it. Finally, one of the most important and perhaps most surprising reasons we should implement chores for young children is that it can promote better health and well-being. Now it's your job to shift the focus to how doing chores can help prevent allergies from developing in kids. So you have to start explaining that idea. And in the process of explaining it, you're going to use a direct quote with a proper citation. And you're going to use it from the article, More Chores, Fewer Allergies. It's the same article that you used to write your summary in part 1 of Integrating Sources, the quiz format. Remember question 4 on that quiz had you read the article, More Chores, Fewer Allergies, and write a summary, right? You're going to use that same article. It's attached to this assignment as well. You don't have to go back to the quiz to find it. It's attached to this assignment as well. But you're going to go back to that article and you're going to pick out a direct quote that you want to use from that article to help explain this third main idea, right? You have the transition into the third main point, this sentence right here, right? But don't just put a direct quote here on the lines with a citation. Remember everything that you have to do when you use a direct quote. You have to shift all this transition says is that doing chores helps kids promote better health and well-being in kids. You still have to shift the focus to how it prevents allergies. You still have to, start discussing that idea. You have to then introduce the direct quote and then integrate the direct quote, cite the source, and then follow up on the direct quote, explain it, and connect it to this main idea about chores promoting better health and well-being for kids. So you're not just plunking the quote into the paragraph. Remember, that's one of those other source abuses that we discussed a couple weeks ago, right? In the week 3, using sources and avoiding plagiarism. Remember, plunking a quote is just dropping the quote in the paragraph, nothing leading up to it, nothing after it. It's just boom. It just appears out of nowhere for some reason, and it's never explained. Nothing's ever done with it. It's just there. You are not doing that here. Do not plunk the quote. You need to shift the focus to this idea about allergies, set up your quote, introduce it, give the quote, cite the source, and then follow up on that information, right? And then the end of the paragraph is already here for you as well, so you don't have to worry about that. So while our children will likely complain and nominate us for worst parent of the year, we should implement those daily and weekly chores so that our youth can reap the benefits of acquiring necessary life skills, learning responsibility, and decreasing allergies. Right? So all you have to do is just finish this third main point. In the process, you will use a direct quote from the article, More Chores, Fewer Allergies. Right? So pay attention to this bullet here in bold, the last one on the list, right? Because that's the one that reminds you what I'm going to be looking for when I grade this. Did you shift the focus? Did you start discussing this idea of allergies without using the source? Just in your own words, your own way of starting to talk about allergies. Did you use an appropriate direct quote? Don't use a quote within a quote. Meaning, because in part of the article, they quote a doctor, but that doctor is not the author of the article. The author of the article quoted that doctor. You should not be quoting that doctor because you're not reading that doctor's material. You're reading the author of the Time for Kids article. You have to quote something else from the article, not the direct quote that's used in the article itself. That makes sense? I hope so. It's very difficult to properly cite a quote a direct quote from a secondary source. Because you didn't actually read that doctor's interview or article. You have to rely on the information that the author of this article has provided. So choose your direct quote wisely. Make sure that you follow up, make sure that you cite it properly, and make sure that you follow up on it. That's what I'm going to be looking for when I grade this. Again, it's just practice, but good to know what's expected. The better you do the first time around, the less likely you'll have to make corrections to get full credit for it. But also, more importantly, the better you do here in this assignment, the more likely it is that you're going to use direct quotes properly in your research paper. And that's the whole point of this. Okay. All right. So I know it's a little confusing. Hopefully going through this with you helped a little bit. But if you do have any questions or run into problems, reach out right away and we can go over it together a little more. Okay. Otherwise, just do your best and good luck.